ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Church Bells. Church Bells is a program where we interview seasoned men of God and officers to share their inspiring life stories with us. So these stories will help impact the younger generations. So today, in the house, I have with me here the presiding elder for the Church of Pentecost, Taifa English Assembly, a man who is popularly known as the indefatigable presiding elder. So welcome, Daddy.
Thank you very much, Nancy, for having me.
Okay, so today you are going to tell us a bit about yourself. So we'll begin with you by telling us your early life, your Christian life, your career life. So to begin with, please can you tell me where you were born?
Yeah, I was born at Bediako, a town in the Hafo region, but I come from Mim.
Okay. So please, how many siblings do you have?
We are 9.
Okay, that's really interesting. So if I may ask, your early life, how was your relationship like with 9 people? You were 9 actually. So
Yes.
how was the relationship like the early days?
Yeah, our lives as siblings were that of a very cordial one. Fortunately, unfortunately, we were born as Muslims. So we began our lives as Muslims over there. But our mother and father gave birth to us in a family. In other words, we all come from one mother, one father. And so we lived together and then we shared everything in common.
Okay, that's really interesting. So growing up, what were some of the challenges you encountered in the early life, in your early life?
Challenges, I would say, were numerous because those years, we're talking about 30th of June 1969 when I was born. And so, some 54 years and a little. The place was really a village. We were born as Muslims. So you could imagine there was no help from anywhere. And we grew up in a caged environment. There was no light, there were no roads, infrastructure was actually absent, and we really had it tough. And people over there were basically unskilled. I remember I was the first person to have my certificate in secondary school and even graduate. So you could imagine it was really a very tough environment for us.
That's really interesting because now I'm coming to your educational life, how you started your basic level to secondary school and maybe through to the university. So just tell us a bit.
I started school at the age of 6. And I continued until I completed the Form 4. Those times we call it Form 4. So I would common entrance. I got the best as at that time, but I didn't have anybody to take me to school, so I had to forget about that and then complete my Form 4 living certificate. So when I was done, it was left with somebody to help me go to school. And those years, because I've already told you, there were no models, there were no pathfinders, there were no role models. There wasn't anybody to look at you. And so my father found it very difficult understanding the fact that I had to go to school. And it was very challenging. I just had to fight him before he took me to secondary school. For that reason, I went to secondary school during the second term.
Really? And you still were able to?
Yeah, I was able. In fact, when I got the grace of God, that's what I'll call it. I was a Muslim, but of course the grace of God was upon my life. I went there and I chopped second,
Wow, that's
and
really
my name was all over the place. Fortunately for me, I applied for scholarship and I got it. So they even gave me scholarship covering the term I wasn't around all those years, so I was able to complete the secondary school. So that is how it all got started. Even after secondary school, my father died when I was in Form 3 in secondary school, and I still had to manage my way through. I had not come to know the Lord by then. So when I was done with my secondary school, I was able to get the distinction over there. When I was done, then it was left with my mother to take me to the sixth form. And she, as a single mother, didn't also understand why I had to go, up in my academic achievement. So I still had to fight my mother to understand the fact that she had to take me to school. And over there, we had a little discussion, a little fight, a little matter, but I pushed her to take me to Kumasi. So from Mim Secondary School, I came to Kumasi because I had access to free secondary schools. So I chose one, which is Tia Media. And we had a stadium at Kumasi. I was picked, and then I continued with my sixth form education.
okay. That's really an interesting one. I can see that in life sometimes you have to fight for
Exactly.
what you want. Okay, so Daddy, can you tell us a bit too about your university life? And from what you are saying, I can actually see after secondary school, you probably may have to do something before going to the university. So
Yeah. After, as I told you, after the sixth form, then I had to do my national service.
okay.
So I did my national service, and then when I was done with national service, I decided to come to Accra to work. I came to Accra, and then instead of going to university straight away, I decided to stay behind for a year because I still didn't have anybody to take good care of my education. So I came to work at a wood factory where I've been working all my years. So in the course of time, I was able to gather a few CDs here and there, and then I bought forms for all the three universities: KUAS, KNUST, and the University of Ghana. By the grace of God, I was picked in all the universities, but I decided to attend the University of Ghana because of proximity, because I was working whilst I was in school. So I chose the University of Ghana, and then I went there to do my tertiary course of education.
Okay, so Daddy, please, what course did you study at the university?
At the university, I studied, I call it Bachelor of Arts. So I did history, archaeology, and then geography and resource development. So I graduated with geography and resource development.
Okay, that's really interesting. So was it a program you had always wanted to do?
Basically, I would say no, because I was a business-minded person. So I wanted to go to Kivas because of there I had become. But just as I told you, because of my business orientation, I still found it difficult going to Cape Coast and then working here.
That would have been a challenge.
Before I went to school, I went to the university, I was doing business. So I thought that it would be wise for me to go to University of Ghana and then I'll be working simultaneously. You understand? So sometimes I'll go and pick wood, place it at my shop, leave it with my brother, and then go to campus. Anytime there was a shortage, I'll run to bush, bring the load, go back. So I was doing business whilst in school. So I thought that though I wanted to be a business guy doing become or something, but because I didn't have anybody to help me in life, I thought best let me be in Legon and then do my business at the same time, so that I'll be able to cater for myself.
Yes, I think I'm really taking a lot from this because you had to work alongside your schooling.
Yeah.
I knew that maybe that might have been very challenging, but it's still sailed through. So we will delve a little bit into your career life. So I think you've already said you are into the wood business.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Wood business is about being intermediary. What it means is that you sponsor people who work on the woods. They bring it to Accra, and then you do the distribution. So we are middlemen. That's what I call it, because we really don't do the processing in the bush. We are here. We sponsor. You bring the wood, and we sell either wholesale or retail to customers. That's what we've been doing over the years. Sometimes it will call for you going to the bush to get your own logs and then do whatever you're supposed to, but it's so stressing. So somebody like me who began schooling and then doing business at the same time, I thought it best to mostly station myself here and then just be taking the goods and then doing the distribution.
So if let me just ask this question. So growing up, was that the work you wanted to do, or at a point you had to take a dive in the career? Like,
Yeah, I would say no. No, because I had in mind becoming a bank manager. Yeah, so in school, I remember in secondary school, I did economics, accounting, and geography. I did the same course in the sixth form. So coming to Lagos, I wanted to do administration, business administration, but I would say that it didn't work that way. Meanwhile, in the course of time, I came to know the Lord, and I just found it prudent that many are the plans of a man, but only the counsel of God stands. So whatever came my way, I took it as the will of God, because I had come to know Him. I used to pray to Him, I served Him. So wherever the wind blew me, I took it to be the will of God.
okay, so I'll take it from here. Many are the plans of a man, but it's the counsel of the Lord that stands.
Yeah.
So on this note, we take some testimonies from President's own daughter and then one officer from the Church of Pentecostal English Assembly.
That Ishmael has the mind of God. That is how I describe him, because he's somebody who devotes himself to ensure that the church grows. And not only the church growing spiritually, but he also ensures that the church grows physically and the people in the church. So he is one person that when nobody is thinking about, he might spot somebody and say that, let us offer a help to this person because I see the person has a need. Maybe the person has not even come to him to request for that need, but because that is his nature, that is, he works with the mind of God. He wants to always ensure that there are smiles on the faces of people. So that is Elder Ishmael for you. Somebody who ensures that the church is growing spiritually and the church is also growing physically. That's Elder Ishmael. Thank you.
My dad is a great person. He's a very nice person. I mean, you might think he's tough from afar, but he's actually very nice and sensitive. He has a plan. At every point in time, he has a plan. He's very visionary, and if you know him, you know he's very disciplined. Very, very disciplined. I mean, very disciplined. And one thing I like about him is that if he wants to be somewhere, he tries everything he can to push you there. I mean, if you want to school somewhere, if you want to work somewhere, he'll try everything that he can to make it possible. Because to him, I mean, everything can be possible. So my dad is actually a very good person, and I love him. I love you, Daddy.
Okay. So Daddy, what do you make of a testimony from your own daughter and then one of your officers? I can really see it's really inspiring. I mean, it's actually good to know people like you and then also experience people like you.
What I would say is I'm humbled, because sometimes you may not even know what you are made up of. until somebody tells you. So both testimonies I would say are true. But what I will make of it is that it's all by the grace of God. I have never been able to do anything by my own. I've always depended on God. Because I believe in three things: prayer, hard work, and discipline. So in everything I pray, and I believe in hard work, and I also believe in discipline. When it comes to discipline in all aspects of your life. Like you have to read your Bible, you have to make sure you respect people, you have to humble yourself, you have to serve people, and you have to live a holy life. So all these come under being disciplined. You need to make sure that you engage God in everything you do.
Okay, thank you so much, Daddy. From what you said, what I take from it is you have to be prayerful, you have to be very hardworking, and then also disciplined. So, Daddy, me come to your spiritual life a bit, because you already told us you were born a Muslim. So, if I may ask, when did you change? When did you become a Christian? And what motivated you, or what influenced you to becoming a Christian?
Yeah, I would say that I came to know the Lord after sixth form. Because I completed secondary school in 1990. And by 1992, I was done with my sixth form education. So I came to know the Lord in 1992. And my spiritual life has been very, very, very battling, very, very, very tough, because as I told you, my background is a Muslim background, and so coming out of that to accept the Lord, and then by the grace of God being able to allow the Holy Spirit to use you to bring almost all your lineage, talking about my extended family members, to the Lord, have been very challenging. But I would say that I don't believe in defeat. I hardly accept defeat. If you hear my daughter saying, I don't accept no's for answers. No. I believe that all things are possible, especially to them who have come to accept and know the Lord. And so it's been challenging. But I thank God that as I'm talking right now, after the death of my father, and then I getting to know the Lord after sixth form, almost all my siblings are Christians. They are Church of Pentecost members across board. Even the ex-wives, I'm talking about my mother's rivals, 3 of them, and almost all their families have also become Church of Pentecost members. So that's how far the challenge got us to. But I would say that the grace of God have done it all. Yeah, because you need to position yourself. If you are a leader in the family, in the church, in the neighborhood, at work or wherever, you are a figure. The Bible said that we are the letter that people are reading. And so we just have the honors, or the task of making sure that you set good examples. You don't tell people to do A and you doing B. That's why I say I believe in discipline. Yeah, you need to discipline yourself to make sure that what you have told people is what you do. So people don't come back to see you doing something else, having told them to do other. That's what I would say.
We are the book that people are reading.
Yeah.
So on this note, as Christians, we actually have to live a life that we will actually be happy with. So that did you ever dream of becoming an officer of a Church of Pentecost after you accepted Christ?
I would say yes. Yes, because not just an officer. I wouldn't also say dreaming. I had an intuition I had the conviction that I had a higher calling, coming to know the Lord. And it's something that I would say it cut across everything I did. The dreams I had, visions I had, what people had about me, what prophets told me vividly, I mean point blank. And everything pointed to the fact that I had a higher calling. So it's not just a dream. I would say it was a vivid kind of reality that was supposed to have come on. So becoming an elder, I'm humbled though, but I knew from the very beginning that I had a higher calling upon my life.
Okay, so Daddy, how long have you been, how many years has it been since you became an officer at the Church of Pentecost?
And that's about 24 years ago.
Wow, 24 years as an officer.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daddy, how do you manage the spiritual life, your business, and we know you're also a family man? How do you manage all those things such that you are able to do everything in order?
I told you I have 3 principles that I live with. The third one is discipline. If you want to make a mark in your life as a believer, you should be disciplined. Because, as I'm telling you, you have been presiding for some years now. I have a family, as you are saying, I do my business, and you can think about other responsibilities. It's all about being disciplined. You have to share your time, you have to share your resources, you have to share your skills and everything, and you should make sure that you don't leave any stone unturned. So that's how come the Lord has helped me. I wouldn't say I've been able to do anything because it's all by the Lord. That's how come the Lord has used me to make a little impact here and there, because I believe in discipline. Like if I should wake up in the morning and I get to know that I have children to take care of, I don't wait for them to struggle. If I know that I have to pray for the church, I don't wait for anything to happen, any disaster to happen before I start praying. If I know I have to go to work and then get money for the family and for our upkeep or whatever, I make sure I do all those things before the end of the day.
Wow, so the watchword is discipline.
Yeah.
So Daddy, can you tell us some of the challenges that you face? Because you know, we may have some people watching us who are upcoming officers. So what are some of the challenges you face, and how did it inspire you to do more so they can also learn from it?
Challenges is, I'm saying, it's a very big word with regards to what you want to learn from me, because there are phases in life and there are different assignments and obligations. So if I want to talk about challenges, I don't know where to start from, but let me say that, talk about the family. I'm a man of with 5 children. That's my biological children, a wife, and then with 5 children. And so when it comes to the family side, we are in Accra. Getting the children schooled, getting them housed, feeding them day in and out, and then providing for their daily needs has its own challenges. When it comes to dealing with the extended family, God has positioned me humbly to be the toast of my mother. My mother is about 103 years. And so you need to make sure that the needs of the old lady and these huge family members, as many as you can help, should be taken into account. So it also comes with its own challenges. You have to make sure. I remember coming to Accra, I came alone. But by the grace of God, I've been able to take a host of my brothers and sisters and nephews and nieces abroad. Those are some of the challenges. You cannot say that you have to wait until you give birth and then you take your children abroad. No. I've done it so many years back, you know. And so those are also challenges that we can also talk about. It doesn't matter where you find yourself, you need to take care of your extended family. Now, talk about the church. To be a leader of Church of Pentecost, it has its own challenges, because a good church has also got to do with a good leadership. And so, managing especially a youthful church like the Tafa Youth Assembly, it's not an easy task. You need to put yourself into their shoes. It doesn't matter your age, you need to understand them, you need to go down to their level and then associate yourself, appreciate their weaknesses and their strengths, and then make sure you buy into their visions, their weaknesses, their strengths, their whatever. It's really a multifaceted kind of challenges. It's its own challenges that we cannot even finish talking about. But I will still come back to the grace of God. I've been telling you the grace of God. It's all to tell you that the strength has always come from the Lord. How to manage all these things and also see to your personal life. I've said to myself that if my mother is 103 and she's still active, then I should also make sure I manage my personal life in such a way that by the time I also grow up, I'll be able to have longevity. So all these things have their individual challenges, but again and again, it has always been God. I look up to Him, I pray to Him daily, I serve Him with my all, and I don't joke with my commitments with God, and that has kept me, and whatever the Lord has used me to do all these years and brought me that far.
Okay, so indeed you can all learn that by strength can no man prevail, but it is just by the grace of God. So I must say we are almost at the end of our interview today. So I'll say, Elder, now your people are watching you. I know people from the Taifa English Assembly will be watching. People from walks of life will be watching, because we are also going to be live on YouTube, TikTok, all social media platforms. So what are your last words for the people watching you?
My last words for everybody watching me at this time is that you should make God, or let me say Jesus Christ, the center of your life. If Jesus holds the center of your life, everything will fall in pleasant places. Everything by God. As you rightly said, by strength shall no man prevail. Jesus said, without me ye can do nothing. And so, fine, you need to prepare yourself physically, economically, socially, politically, educationally, financially, and what have you. But when you are done with all, never leave Jesus out of the scene, because He is our everything. I'll tell you, if you are a young guy growing up, lady or gentleman, acquire knowledge. It can be formal knowledge or informal knowledge. If you can't go to school, get some skills, learn a trade, learn to do a business. Don't just sit idly and depend on God for everything. That is to say that I've already told you everything by God, but I'm not saying depend on God for everything. There's a difference between everything by God and then depending on God for everything. Now, this life that we live in, 70% of our lives is physical. It's only 30% that is spiritual. So, discipline yourself. Work hard. Acquire knowledge. Aim high. And dream a dream that is real. Pursue a dream. Do a travel. Try to do something. Fail. Go back and try again. Be persevering. Get a goal in mind and make sure At the end of the day, with God by your side, everything is possible for you. That's what I would tell everybody. Don't just be a naive Christian. Let me say the proper word is dogmatic Christians. The Christians who will say, after having even prayed, they will still depend on God. They will not go out to look for something to do. After having given an offering, they will sit back and then wait for God to do something that is not practicable. You give your offering, go back to work. You pray, go out and look for something. So combine the two. Discipline yourself. Live holy lives. That is my final word.
Thank you so much, Presiding. It has been an inspiring interview, and I know people will take great lessons from this. And we would entreat all our viewers to subscribe, share, and like our page. This is Church Bells, and Church Bells will come your way again. Thank you.